Tartaria and the mud floods. Was our history erased? Let's take a deep dive into an alternative history theory. The theory of Tartaria and the mud flood is a fascinating and controversial narrative that has gained traction in alternative history communities in recent years. According to proponents, Tartaria was a vast, technologically advanced empire that existed until relatively recently but was deliberately erased from mainstream history. A cataclysmic mud flood, they claim, covered cities, altered landscapes, and buried evidence of this lost civilization. This theory blends elements of conspiracy, hidden technology, forbidden archaeology, and a radical reinterpretation of architectural and historical records. Let's explore this in detail. What Tartaria was believed to be, the claims about the mud flood, supporting evidence, mainstream criticism, and what draws people to this unusual and compelling narrative. Historically, Tartary or Tartaria was a real term used in Western maps and writings from the 16th to 19th centuries. It referred vaguely to vast territories across Central Asia, Siberia, and parts of Eastern Europe, lands that were largely unknown to Western cartographers. These regions were inhabited by various nomadic peoples, including Mongols and Turkic tribes. However, in the Tartaria theory, believers argue that Tartaria was not just an ill-defined region, but rather a highly advanced global civilization with incredible technology and architecture. It allegedly spanned much of Asia, Russia, and possibly even parts of North America and Europe. This empire is said to have been a rival to, or even superior to, the civilizations of Europe and the West. Supporters point to ancient-looking photographs, ornate buildings with Greco-Roman features especially in places like Russia, Kazakhstan, and even the US, and old maps with the word Tartaria as proof that this civilization once existed, but has since been hidden or destroyed. The mud flood theory, central to the Tartarian narrative, is the idea of a global or widespread mud flood that happened in the 18th or 19th century, possibly as recently as 200 years ago. This event allegedly buried cities and buildings in many parts of the world under several feet of mud, wiping out Tartarian infrastructure and hiding evidence of their advanced culture. Proponents of the mud flood theory point to photographs of buildings with partially buried windows or doors that are now underground, basements that appear to be the original ground floor, suggesting the street level rose due to a flood of earth, excavated cities like those found during construction work that reveal older structures beneath current buildings, strange architecture or lack of construction records from massive 18th and 19th century structures, for example. State capitals, world fairs. They argue that these are signs that older cities were not built by the people of the time, but rather dug out from layers of mud or dirt, suggesting a massive reset or cover-up. The world fairs and the reset. One of the most intriguing elements for Tartaria theorists is the series of World S fairs held in cities like Chicago 1893, Paris, and San Francisco. These fairs showcased massive, elaborate structures built in a neoclassical or Tartarian style, often resembling Roman or Greek temples. Supporters question how such buildings could have been constructed so quickly with 19th century technology and often under tight time. Some claim these structures were not built for the expos, but rather discovered or repurposed from the remnants of Tartaria, and then destroyed or dismantled afterward to prevent discovery. This ties into the broader idea of a great reset in history, not to be confused with the modern economic term, where civilization was catastrophically altered, and humanity had to restart from a lower level of technology. Theories include the deliberate destruction of knowledge, rewritten history, and massive loss of population. Evidence and interpretation. Here are some types of evidence, frequently cited by believers in the Tartaria mud flood theory. Old maps and atlases. Maps from the 16th to 18th centuries sometimes labels Central Asia as Tartaria. This is factual. Cartographers used this term to refer to unknown or loosely known areas. However, believers interpret these as signs of a unified empire. Buried architecture, photos and videos show buildings with windows below modern street level. Some claim this indicates a buried first floor, supporting the mud flood theory. Critics point out that changing street levels are a known urban phenomenon due to infrastructure, road elevation, and redevelopment. Photographs from the 1800s. Early photos depict cities with wide, empty streets, lacking the bustle one might expect. Some theorists interpret these as signs of repopulation after a reset or catastrophe. Unexplained architecture. Elaborate buildings like the ones seen in old state capitals or courthouses are claimed to be too advanced for the time, suggesting they were remnants of an older civilization. Destruction of old buildings. Many monumental buildings were torn down or destroyed in the late 1800s and early 1900s. Theorists ask why such architecture would be destroyed if it was newly built, suggesting a cover-up. Why people believe. While many elements of the Tartaria mud flood theory lack credible historical or scientific backing, the theory's popularity reflects broader cultural currents. Distrust of official narratives. Many people feel mainstream history overlooks or distorts facts, often for political or economic reasons. Love of mystery. The idea of a lost global civilization and covered-up history is inherently compelling, especially when paired with photographic evidence. Aesthetic appeal. Tartarian architecture, as it's described, is grand, beautiful, and intricate, starkly different from many modern buildings. Spiritual and esoteric dimensions. Some tie Tartaria to advanced energy technologies, free energy, and sacred geometry, tapping into metaphysical or suppressed knowledge themes. In conclusion, the Tartaria and mud flood theory represents a rich vein of alternative thought, blending architectural curiosity, conspiracy, forgotten history, and myth. While lacking scholarly validation, it offers a framework that appeals to those seeking hidden truths and unexplored pasts. As with many alternative histories, it's essential to approach these ideas with both open-minded curiosity and critical thinking. Whether or not you believe in Tartaria, the questions it raises about history, power, and truth are valuable in their own right. I hope you enjoyed this informative video on the mystery of Tartaria. It's quite an intriguing subject, isn't it? I hope you'll come back for more videos because I love to share interesting information. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos, and have a wonderful day or night, wherever you are in this beautiful world of ours.